good evening, people. We're back again Saturday evening for our usual show once a week on a Saturday night. It's the Two Marks. Sheriff, how are you, sir?
All's good, mate. All's good. Beautiful sunshine at the moment, mate. All is good. It's quite warm. It's lovely. Been lovely today.
Lovely. It shoveled it down here earlier.
Yeah.
Absolutely shoveled it down. And then this
Seriously,
afternoon,
mate.
well, since about 3 o'clock, the sun's come out.
Yeah, you must have had all the nonsense that passed up by us yet last night.
Maybe, mate. Maybe. Yeah, it was absolutely tearing down. But there you go. Unlike Spurs,
man.
tearing down all that money like Spurs for Matty's Tell. By the sound of it.
I've only just found out about that, man.
Lovely. Yeah, I've only just heard about it as well. But there you go.
Well,
we'll see what happens with that one, eh? Hey.
45 mil.
Hey, go on, mate. Go on. Sorry.
45 mil, man.
Yeah, 35 plus 10 or something.
35
something like that.
plus 10.
Yeah.
Man, be different if he was like 23, 24. You know, proven.
Yeah.
No, man. What are we doing?
What are we
doing?
I don't know. What we're doing.
No, we need it. That must be it now for the youth projects. If we don't buy experience now, I've got serious concerns about the club.
Well, yeah, we've got to now, haven't we? We're at the stage now where they've got to get some experience in. We're in the Champions League next year, man. We're going to get battered if we don't get some experience in. And I'm not even going to say experienced squad players, experienced players to come in. Do you know what I mean? And actually boost this team up a little bit. Give us a chance next season. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what's needed now. We got enough kids to last us 10, 12 years.
I'm going to say the next 10 years.
Well, yeah, at least. You know, we need experience to give them guidance.
Yeah, I agree, man.
So someone to come in with the experience, been there and done it, to take them under their wing, say, look, teach them.
Yeah.
It's all right coaching them, but you need someone from the look up to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
I'm seriously praying, whether we'll pay the wages or not, I don't know. I'm seriously praying that we get Jack Grealish.
Yeah, but there's been...
there's rumblings, isn't there?
Yeah, there's been rumblings for him. Buemo.
Mm-hmm.
Young lad from Roma, I believe.
Yeah, another one. I saw that in one of the groups yesterday.
Yeah, I saw the start of that a couple of weeks ago, to be honest with you. I didn't take much notice of it. And then, they're banging on about him. He's at Roma, and he also sent a midfielder from Roma.
Yeah.
21 or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
It begins with a P, I think. I can't remember. I didn't take notice. But that's been rumbling on all week as well. But Mark, let's take a step back just a little bit. We'll talk about players in a little while.
Yeah.
Thomas Frank, he's in officially in. I know it's like Saturday now, and everyone's been banging on about it for the last couple of days. But what are your thoughts on Thomas Frank coming in, Mark?
He's like any other manager, right? Any other manager that comes to us, I back them when they come in. Bloody hell. We have royalty joining us.
Yeah, we got, who's this here?
Mari.
Oh, it's Mari. How are you, Mari?
I'm doing good. Having a little trouble signing in on my main computer, so I'm on the phone. And so whenever that is working, I will switch off onto the main computer.
You crack on, man. You do what you got to do.
How are you, Mari? Nice to speak to you.
Man, I'm doing good. I'm with now I'm going to call it the 3 M's. Mark, and Mari.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yes.
So we got the 3 M's. Oh, my goodness. I think it might be working. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The 3 M's, it sounds like a US chat show, that, doesn't it? The 3 M's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in there twice, man.
Yeah. Twice.
So I've signed in twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick myself. Well, let me make
if you just leave the studio and...
Yeah, I'm going to leave the cell phone.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you in
Yeah.
a minute.
There we
Yeah.
go. And then I can add him in on this one.
That's it. He'll pop in on that
There
one.
you go.
There he is.
Back.
All right, I'm
Look
there.
at
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. This is more like it, man.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
much
Yeah.
better.
So anyway, Frank, right? Any manager that comes in, I'm behind them till they piss me off, basically.
Yeah.
So they do something I don't like, or there's a constant string of stuff going on, negativity, stuff like that. I'm behind every. I was perfectly honest. When Ange come in, the first 10 games, I loved him. Absolutely loved him. He was a breath of fresh air. He was good with the media. You know, he said mate a lot. You know, it's who we are and all these buzzword things. But then the first 10 games when we was top of the league, everyone loved him. Everyone loved him. But then after that, the steady decline started, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. The first couple, or the first two, three, four, you know, you let him get away with that because there's always going to be teething problems. But then when it continues and it continues to get worse, you think, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
And eventually you just lose faith altogether.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm on the show because you guys are going to get privy to all the controversial things I'm going to say.
Oh, nice.
That I'm saving for next week, but I'm going to say it today because I'm looking at the comments, I'm looking everywhere. Just to say about Ange, and I've been consistent about Ange. I've been Ange out since pretty much the end of last season because I didn't really see improvement. Now, I do know in life a dead clock is right twice in a day,
Yeah.
and things just happen. And for me, I am very thankful that I got a chance to see my second trophy in supporting this club. Very happy. I celebrated for 2 weeks. Still happy being called a European champion, right?
Yeah.
And so that is great. But I also know in life that you have to look at the whole picture. You have to look at what's going on. And for me, I have no confidence in Ange going into the next season. Just like Mark said,
Yeah.
it's the Chelsea game of last season. It's just down, down, down. The Champions League, let's be honest, the biggest sexual doesn't think that we're going to go far in the Champions League. So what's left is the domestic cups, right? And for me, we're 0 for 4. Well, we got to semifinals against Liverpool. We beat City. I get that. And as you can see, City is signing everybody and their mama. And you know they're going to come back strong. We lost Villa eliminators. So I had no hope in the domestic cups. So the last competition, I was like, well, Europa League. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not in the Europa League again. So for me, I'm thinking, and I'm being nice because injuries have always plagued Ange teams. You could look it up. We led the league in most hamstring injuries or muscle related injuries. So it wasn't going to go away. So you factor to all this stuff. I had no confidence going into the new season. Absolutely no confidence going into the new season. Yes, thank you for the trophy. It's an anomaly when you finish 15th and you win a trophy. It's rare. It's only been done 10 times in all of Europe out of 120 competitions. So it tells you it's more rare. So, today, I know you guys haven't spoken about Tell yet. So I'll wrap it up. I'll say this because now people are complaining, oh, Frank just accepted, Tell,
Oh, yeah.
and And there are people who were just waiting for him to fall or to fail. We lost a guy who won trophies, who won, being Ange. And for me, I'm like, well, if that's the case, then bring back Monday Mamos. Because at least he's won a domestic cup, Hey, I mean, if you feel that way. But for me, I am ecstatic that Frank is here. I like the fact that he changes in game, before the game, in regards to tactics. But the most important thing that I'm really happy about, other than being some Pornhub joke, because we always leave ourselves open for teams, the most important thing, and I'll shut up, is that he knows how to coach his players.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the scouting reports of Ollie Watkins, Tony, and Wemo.
Yeah.
They weren't glowing like Matisse Tell. And what did this guy do, along with the assistant coach, the black guy, Cochran?
Yeah.
Apparently, they are the forward whisperer, the talent whisperer. So yes, Tell was shit, but he's 19 years old. So for me, I'm willing to see what Frank and Cochran do with Tell. Do I like the signing of Tell? No, but I am willing to let the voice whisperer, that is Frank and Cochran, do their job and see what we canceled. There's some plays we're like, nah, they're not good. Now let's see what he does with the Mikey Moores, the Bergvalls, the Grays, the Tells. Basuma, he's already gone. So I'm assuming he's like, nah, I can't work with Tell. I mean, with Basuma. Basuma, it looks like he's going to Faberice. So let's give him a chance. Let's see what he does with what we call reject. Maybe they're not reject because they played under Ange.
Quite right. Yeah. Right. Should we have a look who's in the chat quickly?
Yeah.
Scott M.
Scott.
Yeah, big up, mate. I'll tell you a true story about the intro. Ben and Coover created that. Mr.
Yeah,
Kaufman.
Yeah.
Yeah. They came up.
Yeah.
So big thanks to them for doing that.
Absolutely.
Because me and you ain't got a clue, mate. Imagine if me and you created it, mate.
No chance.
No, absolutely no hope.
Yeah, thank you very much to everyone who helped us. Yeah.
Just eating din-dins.
Nice.
Yeah. Come on in when you're ready, Nudge.
Yes, I've been invited twice. Yeah.
Outside dancer, big up, mate. Oh, Thomas the Frank engine.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Woo, woo.
We're all excited about that. Yeah, there you go. Choo choo. Lisa. You're a bit early. You're a bit early, Lisa. Mud in the pub's 9 o'clock.
Big up, Lisa.
Yeah. Big up, miss. Anyway, good evening. Donna Cullen.
Big up, Donna.
Donna, I've missed you.
Big up, Donna, again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Donna's been sacked, right? Or left, or retired, or whatever.
Just popped in to say hello.
Yeah.
We missed you, Donna.
We do.
Yeah. Triple M. Big up to Triple M.
Big up, Ryan.
Big up, Ryan. What's my chat here?
Mark and Mari.
I did hear you open it up. Well, but it's a yes. You weren't meant to hear it, but just ignore it.
Nita.
Oh, Nita.
Big up, Nia. Good evening, miss. Right, anyway, where were we, mate?
Mari was telling us about Thomas Frank and how he was pleased that he was coming in as a coach.
Yeah, to me, at long last, we might see some coaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As you said, Mari, like he's got this reputation of coaching youngsters and improving them. Let's see what he does with Tell, Gray, Bergval, all the youngsters. Because you know what I mean? He might go to because that Cochrane, he was with us once.
Yeah.
Is that correct? He was like youth coach or something.
Dane Scarlett, Donnelly. So he's very familiar, and this guy is getting glowing reports from everyone, from everyone, and he is on the staff of the England national team.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he the sort of under 18s or under 17s or the youth teams?
No, the
He's
national
on.
team. He's also with the national team. With
Oh, he's on the first team as well. See, I knew he had something to do with the youth sort of teams, under 19s and whatever.
Yeah,
Bloody hell.
and,
Yeah, he does that part time, doesn't he?
and apparently he's very great in coaching positioning, and so and I'll be honest, I don't rate these guys, Tell and Olderberg, even Johnson, but if you could get proper coaching, I mean, it could do wonders. And like I said, and Bremo and Ollie Watkins, these guys were highly rated, and and we want these guys, Ollie Watkins, Tony, who's out in Saudi Arabia and stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's give him a chance. I mean, I still want us to get Bremo, Visa, Eze, still bring him in. But if he feels that he can do something, turn water into wine, then you know what? Go ahead. Turn water into wine. I like wine. I'll drink wine. I will drink wine.
I agree with both of you. I think at the end of the day, it's not just the youngsters that will benefit, but the more senior players as well playing a structured, tacticked way of playing football. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I haven't had that for the last 2 years. We've seen how it's gone generally over the last 2 years. But, obviously, like you just said, players like Bergvall, you get a coach on them and they're being coached daily, and so on. It's going to make a massive difference, I think. And I think there's been many discussions before, to be honest with you, and we've all admitted we're not a 17th place team. That squad is not a 17th place squad. We can all beg to differ. Some say it's a top 4. I've heard it said from others. Some say top 6. Some say top 8. Some say top 10, which is all fine. All of those are fine. For me, we're a top 8 team under this coach. I don't see any reason why we can't go get up to 8th in this first season.
Yeah.
I don't know what you chaps think about that.
Well, I will take this season. Obviously, it's going to be a new way of playing, and obviously you've got to give him time. I personally, I hope he doesn't start like Ange did. Start on fire. We're top of the league after 10 games, and then it starts tailing off because then everyone will say, "Well, he's no better than Ange." Right. I'd sooner start slow, but then you see improvements. As long as the arrow's going like that, or the trajectory is, you can see we're improving.
Yeah.
We still, but if you see we're going like that instead of like that, then I'm more than happy. I don't see the next season why we can't get a European spot. What's that? Top 7, top 8, anywhere in that, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah,
just qualify for something because, well, I say it now. We're obviously not winning the Champions League, are we?
No.
To be honest, let's face it, we're not doing that. I mean, I'm not that delusional saying like the quad is on, the quintuple with the Super Cup. We'll play Paris Saint-Germain off the park and we'll win that as well. I'm not that deluded. But if we get a Europa spot next year, qualify for that through the league, then happy days. That's improvement. Last season we were 17th. We only got relegated.
Yeah, I honestly think too now that we have a good chance of, of course we need some more additions, and the rumor is that Frank wants a number 6. We haven't had a 6 in years, and so that's very, very important. But and I'm reading the statement from Big Bad Rom. There's a couple of things that you'll see this season. First of all, with Tell, going to speak about Tell today. I we we can't really say, like, I could say Tanguy Ndombele was a waste because his contract pretty much ran out with us. No Celso. Um, it's a new contract, and he's 19 years old. There was a lot of 19-year-old players people call shit who are good at 25, 26, 27. So, so it's kind of unfair to say that. But going into the season where we're going to have structure, Frank is going to have the best defense, right? We've said this. Can you imagine if Jose or Antonio Conte had this defense?
Yeah.
Now Frank is getting it.
Yeah.
Mind you, it come to set pieces, they were second best in the defense. They only allowed two set piece goals, while we gave up, I think, 11. Last time I checked, 11. We've only given up. They've only given up two set piece goals. So can you imagine now, him game by game, either it's a back two or back four, compared to a back three. Now you got Romero, Van de Ven, more healthier because he's not making sprints. It's the reason why he has injuries, those guys, especially Van de Ven, because we led easily in Europe in sprints. You're always sprinting like that, it's going to cause you a hamstring. So now you have Danzo. I was impressed by Danzo. A back three of Romero, Van de Ven, and Danzo. Then you could plug in Dragusin, who's used to playing in the back three with his national team. Romero played in the back three in Atalanta when he won Defensive Player of the Year. VDV can easily fit in the back three. Now you have Udogie and Porro, who can now focus bombing forward, which is their expertise, right? Because they're not great defenders. And if you want to go to a back four, now you can put in Spence in. And then we have that young kid, I can't pronounce it, but it starts with a V. And that's
Vuskovic.
And Ashley Phillips. Our defense, I'm excited about our defense. We're not going to be open like a porn star. It's going to be structure to our defense. I'm excited about that. I don't get how people, and I get it. I get it. You're desperate in the desert. You want water, and we got water by winning the Europa League. Get it. But that was an anomaly. People thinking that we've lost a manager who's going to bring trophies after trophies after trophies every year. That wasn't happening. I'm telling you, it was not happening. So I'm excited. The defense is going to be good. If he gets his wish and gets a number 6 and in the midfield, and now with Cochran and him trying to improve our forwards like he did with the forwards at Brentford, I mean, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Before we bring Nigel, there's a question for you here, Mari. Any news from Tavistock on the club sale and board reshuffle? Seems you're the expert on this.
The only thing I know right now is that something's going to happen in regards to the sale. As you guys know, Joe Lewis is on house arrest here in the States, here in Orlando, because of insider trading fraud that's going on. And so the trust, which would be passed on to his kids, if his kids really want to have control of Tottenham, that is the $1 million question. But from what all I'm hearing is, if the right deal comes, that there could be a sale within maybe 2 years. They're having a lot of Tottenham with the stadium and the stature of the club. It is an impressive buy for investors out there.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of that.
We don't show it on the field, but on the exterior, the on the outside, it's very enticing for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on everything you said before the Tavistock question. But when you was talking about the team and going on from that, Mari, just before we bring Nigel in, just wanted to say I'm totally with you on Thomas Frank. But like we said at the beginning, at the same time, the youth buying has to stop. At some stage, we have to get. It's all right, us sitting here saying, yeah, top 8, top 6, top whatever, get in Europe. But unless we get some experience in, we're not doing any of that. Do you know what I mean? We're not getting top 6 unless we get some experience in.
Yeah. And just to big bad mom, like for me, I prefer not to sign Tell. I'm with you on that. I mean, I want the Embremos, the Visas. I mean, Eze's, that's who I want. But they're already going to sign him. All I'm just saying that Frank's track record from his resume, he's good turning water into wine. Like there were glowing reports for Embremo. Ollie Watkins, if you look at his scout, like it's almost similar to Tell. Like, and these are guys that we rate now. You know, Watkins out of Villa, Tony. Tony wasn't highly rated. So all I'm saying is that, you know, Frank, if he's gonna get something out of Tell, he's the manager to do it because he's a coach. That's what I'm saying. You know, we will see if he is a waste. I agree with you. As of today, not the signing that I want, but you kind of have to let things happen. You kind of have to let things flow.
Yep. Nigel, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Big up to the 3 M's. There was definitely a show in there somewhere. Big up chat, and I got to say hi to Mum as well because she might be watching. But yeah, no, I'm good, guys. How are you?
Yeah,
Good.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Ticking over as you do, watching the news, waiting for something to happen, Nigel.
Have they actually dropped his, like, you know, they always do like a first video that he does with like an interview. Has that come out yet?
No, I ain't seen nothing of that.
No?
He's on holiday, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I watched a bit of Ali Gold earlier. He did a video on it. And I watched a bit of it, and he did say he's on holiday still.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, he might cut his holiday short, who knows? But
who knows? What do you make of it, Nigel?
Next week.
You know, what do you make of it, Nigel? They're saying that Tell's coming in for 35 plus 10, I believe. That's what they're talking about. 45 million quid. Sounds like a lot of money to me.
I thought it was 35.
It's one of them.
I've seen them
we've already paid the 10 million, haven't we, for the loan fee from like last year? But it's one of them, and we kind of knew it was going to happen. I think we were kind of thinking maybe it might not. I haven't got an issue with it if Solomon's going, if we're selling Sonny, if maybe Yang's going out on loan again. I haven't got a problem with bringing Tell in, but I'd want us to go and sign Eze to be the main player out there, or Grealish to be your main man, and then Tell can, because there's going to be plenty of games. We've got a lot of games next season. So I haven't got a problem with the signing. I wouldn't want him to be my first choice. And we got to remember he is still young. So we can't rely on him that much. You know, he's gonna have dips in form.
Me and Mark was talking backstage before we started. And we said this signing youth stuff has got to stop now. We need experience that these youngsters can look up to and learn off. You know, you can't just keep on and keep on and keep on buying like kids on low wages. This is what the stadium was built for, is to buy top players. Well, that's what we were told anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
I got bad news for you, Mark. It looks like we're going to sign another youngster, another kid.
Somewhere it's Italian.
Nicola Pulisic.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the one.
What I tell you, Mark, just before we came on,
very talented, but
19 years old.
90 years old.
Yeah.
And the deal will be official after the European Championship. The European Championship is going on right now, but apparently it is signed, sealed, and delivered that we have a deal in principle.
Wow.
So we're signing another kid. Nurse me.
And so when we go to sign him, we'll say, hang on a minute, I'm just doing my A levels. I'm just doing my A levels and then I can sign. You know, it's getting silly, you know, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is, chaps. It's out of our hands.
Well, yeah, there's nothing we can do about it apart from sit here and moan about it.
We can shout all day for experience, mate, but if that's not the road they're going down, then it's not the road they're going down, is it? You know,
No.
but at the same time, as far as I know, even though United are in for Mbeumo, from little bits and pieces that I've read, we're trying to go over the top on that deal, apparently. I don't know if you chaps have read anything about that.
I've heard there's mixed reports, isn't there? Because there's some people saying that obviously United have offered 60 million and we've offered 70.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a minute. I can't see how Spurs offer 70 million. We wouldn't pay 60 million for Eze last year. So I'd be surprised, but maybe. But there are rumours that on one side that he wants to stay in London. On the other side, he's a United fan. So I think it's 50-50 at the moment. If we put the money in.
I'll be honest, I'm not saying we're a bigger club than Man United, but at the moment, we've got more to offer him. Yeah. We've obviously got Champions League football. They've only got one game a week next season.
Yeah.
They got one game a week. They got nothing other than domestics in the league. We got Champions League football to offer him and a shiny new stadium that doesn't leak.
And Frank, his coach.
Yeah, and Thomas Frank, who was his first manager.
Yeah, definitely.
Thomas Frank would be a big pull to him.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? You know, to a certain degree. It's not like he'd have to come in and learn a way of playing. He knows what he's doing on the pitch. He knows what he's meant to be doing in his position, doesn't he, for what he was doing at Brentford under Frank.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine it would be pretty similar if it came into us, you know. But very talented player. Very talented player.
Do you not think, Mark, as a person, you know, when you work, I don't know, do you not maybe get bored of the same voice? Would you not think as a player, I want someone, a different voice? Just throwing, devil's advocate.
But to be honest,
might want to change.
To be honest, Mbeumo was nothing. He wasn't even rated. And then Frank got hold of him and turned him into what he is now.
He's done the same with Wissa, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really developed Mbeumo, definitely. Really developed him. So I can imagine he sort of owes Thomas a debt of gratitude, to be honest, the way he's brought him on. Because even players like Ollie Watkins weren't rated when they first went there. They weren't rated, but Thomas Frank.
You could go down the list of just players who are stars now. Not saying it's a star, but people are like, well, what happened to Mo Salah when he was in Chelsea and Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many players that they then meet a coach or a certain club that cultivated their talent, and just it's just like wow. And like I said, going back to Tell, Tell out of my mouth, he was garbage. Those 6 months he was garbage, and at Bayern, I didn't really see anything.
He didn't get a game, did he?
No, maybe a few times here and there, but he wasn't that good. Now they had 2 different coaches. They fired that one coach, I forgot what's his name, and then they had Company. And Company has had Polina, who we rate Polina, and Polina's, going to go. I'll be honest, I don't really think what's his name? Company's a great coach. And so now with Tell, if you tell me Tell is going to come from the bench, he should come from the bench, that Frank is going to work with him, because the one thing him and that guy Cochran, and I think this is the reason why he wanted Cochran, because from the videos I've seen, Cochran knows where to coach, like players, tell players where to be in place, positioning.
Mhm.
And if you watch our games, our forwards, our team was everywhere. The positioning was terrible. The only one I would give credit to in regards to positioning the way is Brennan Johnson, because he was always there for the tap in. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else, Tell, Olderberg, even Solanke, like the positioning within the box, it was terrible. So bringing in Frank, it's an upgrade, and so you know you almost got to see what he's going to do with Tell, and like I said, I get it. I mean, for me, I would not sign Tell, but Frank and Cochran, they are known to cultivate talent, especially talent that are not highly rated. And the proof is in the pudding. Brentford has lost star players in the forward line every year. And Tell does have some kind of talent because he was named. He did play in the Olympics for France, and he's on their U21 team. So the same team that has Desiree Doué, like I said, I'm not saying he's as good as Desiree Doué and Barcola. So we just gotta see what happens.
Yeah. In answer to your question, Nige, about, for argument's sake, Tell being signed, now being under another coach, I think personally, obviously, you've got all different types of coaches. You'll have your get in your face coaches, you'll have your put your arm around your shoulder coaches and have a word in people's ears. There's all different types of coaches. I think maybe for someone like Tell, his main thing that he needs is like Mari, like we've all said, he's coaching.
Yeah.
But I also think he may be one of those players that wants a manager to put his arm around his shoulder rather than do this, do that, do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about necessarily on the coaching side. If Cochrane was out there saying to him, look, this is where I need you to be there when this happens and so on, fine. But there's a lot of coaches that won't go up to players and put their arm around them when it is what they need. Some players are just like that, and Tell might be one of those players and he responds to that, through a different coach.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Tao is that for a player that allegedly didn't want to join Spurs and Ange had to call him to convince him, credit to him, when he was here the 6 months previous, he fully immersed himself into Tottenham. He wanted to play when he had his chances. Listen, he wasn't always great, but the effort was always out. And I'll give that to Tell. He's always looked like he's really wanted to play for Spurs since he's been out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll only be able to see, won't we? Go on, Mark.
At the moment, it's just wait and see now, isn't it? With Thomas Frank, it's just wait and see. I mean, we can all read and watch all the links to all the stuff he's ever been in, but until we see the proof of the pudding when the season starts, as long as I can see us progressing and improving, I'm more than happy. More than happy. And let's face it, we're not going to finish 17th like we did last year. No. Are we going to win a trophy again? Probably not. But if we can actually do well in the league and qualify for Europe through the league position, I'll be more than happy. More than happy, because that's a vast improvement on this season. A vast improvement.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching Savas earlier, and just to put Tell's transfer into perspective, they've signed Cherky, 8 Nori, and is it Reinders or Rahinders, however you pronounce it?
Reinders, yeah.
And they all cost less individually than what we've paid for Tell.
What Brentford have? You want about Brentford?
No, Man City have signed
Man
Ryan
City.
Cherky,
Yeah.
8 Nori, and the other lad, and they was Reinders, and they've all cost less than the Tell deal.
Yeah, all around 30 million each, weren't they?
And I think that's why people will get frustrated to the fact of signing more experienced players. Now, obviously, you know, perhaps whoever does their transfer deals has got the gift of the gab. I don't know how you would, but we just don't seem to have that pull at the moment to get those type of players. Now, don't get me wrong, they was all 30 million deals, but they all might be on 200 grand a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That might well be the case, but you don't even hear us being mentioned. You know, even you know, we're the kings of inquiring and concrete and this and that and the other, but all these like really top players that are available, that we, you know, words going round that they're available, we very rarely seem to get like properly linked with them. You know what I mean? And we're going and buying just kids basically, just you know, under 21s. And again, I'm saying it has to change. It's got to change at some point. If, like Mark says, we're going to go on this slow growth spurt, you know, back to where we want to be, then we've got to get some experience in somewhere along the line.
Oh, there's another one for you here, mate. Next comment. Any news on Mikey Moore? I didn't realise the England under 19s played, to be honest.
Oh, no update.
No, I haven't any news on it. I did see earlier on that he had rolled his ankle in the match. And that was all that I saw. There was 2 different comments. One said rolled his ankle. One said badly rolled his ankle. So don't know how bad it is. I'm sure in the next few days it will come out that of what he's done. You know, but
here's another thing too. You know, I've just thought about, you know, through the WhatsApp chats and what some other people. The thing I just don't get, and I'm all the way here I'm in the States and hope to be there next season in a game or 2. Big up Ben.
big up,
Mr. Kaufman.
Can you imagine, right? And we're looking at defeats. We had about 12 in the league, 12 defeats at home. Our home wasn't even a fortress this year. And now you're telling me you want to go into next season, and these teams are getting better.
Yeah.
Right? And you're comfortable going into your fortress next season just to wait for a possible or hope for a possible FA Cup run in February. And you'd rather go through all these home losses again. Like, that is discouraging. I mean, I have to wake up 7 o'clock in the morning to be discouraged. But you guys are paying top dollar to go to the stadium to be embarrassed once again at home. Like, that would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things last season, Mari, and don't get me wrong, I haven't been to Tottenham for a long time. Right, I refuse to go because of the chairman. Right, but I know, and there's people in the chat, Ben, for argument's sake, you know, pays a lot of money,
for years.
a lot of money for him and his family go, you know, and they go every week to watch what I call what was that turgid shit for nearly 1.5 seasons, you know, and I think that's disgusting. And then when comments came out, all right, we won the cup, and I'm so glad, like everyone else, we won a trophy. But when that came out, that basically from like February, they'd said, don't worry about the league.
Yeah.
It's all right. Don't worry about that. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't.
But there was no saying, oh, here's some of your money back that you paid for your season.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You know.
None of that.
I don't believe it.
I know
Ben's.
Go on, Nigel.
I'm not sure if he's going to mind me saying it. I'm not sure if he's going to mind me saying it, but Ben pays nearly 10 grand for his 4 season tickets.
Yeah.
10K.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Crazy.
money.
It is a lot of money. A
Craziness.
lot of money.
A lot of money.
You know.
To go and watch us lose every week at home. That's crazy.
Well, Mark, I'm going to jump in. Nige, what did you want to say before I carry on?
Just it is. Yeah, don't wash for me that we give up the league for the
Yeah.
cup. I don't believe a word of it. I think it's all PR. I think maybe Ange and Levy had a meeting once they got to the semi-final, and Levy might have been like, "We need to win this Champions League, or you need to win this Champions League." But I don't believe that we sacked off the league in February. Nah, I ain't having it.
Not for 3.1 million a place.
No,
You know what I mean? You know what Daniel's like with money.
especially at that time, there was no guarantee we're going to
Well, exactly.
get to a final. So
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's in the past now. It's gone. We've moved on.
Yep.
Thomas the Frank engine is in. And what I'm very pleased about is that before Ange went and before he came in, actually, I always said it was most important that when a manager stroke coach comes into our club, that he's able to bring his backroom staff with him. I think it's very, very important that that's happened. This time, it has happened.
Yeah.
I think that's a massive plus for us, that there's a unit of 6 or 7 fellas that are coming in to give us that structure and those tactics and so on that we've been missing, for the last 2 years.
Because they are like a big fat. Do we have all of them?
Well, all the ones you wanted.
Yeah, we got
The
more.
ones you wanted.
Yeah.
Like that Cochran was.
Plus the set piece coach from Man United that
Yes.
he used to work with years ago, apparently.
Yeah. Because what I heard, Cochran was being lined up as his replacement at Brentford.
Right.
Yeah.
He decided to stick with him and come to Tottenham.
Yeah.
And so that Nick Cochran bloke is highly rated, very highly rated.
yeah,
And for him to come in with his staff, that means there's no transition with the manager and his staff because he knows all of them. And the other one you said it come from Man United. He used to work with him.
Yeah.
So there's going to be no real there's going to be no real transition where they're getting to know each other as well as getting to know the players. They can come in, implement their philosophy immediately and say, crack on. All right, it'll take a few games. Probably take most of pre-season to get them going. And they still might not.
We won't start quickly. Anyone who's expecting Spurs to fly out of the blocks and win 8 of the first 10, like when Ange first come in, that's probably not going to happen. Frank is renowned for starting slowly, but like you said earlier, Sheriff, that's absolutely fine. We don't want to see this and then straight down. A steady incline and steady rise is what we're looking for.
I mean, his very first game is against PSG. So and the schedule comes out Wednesday, and it's like you said, Nige, we know it's gonna take some time to add some building blocks, foundation to the team, and so I just hope that people understand that, because you people will be like, oh, well, Ange will. And I don't want to hear it, because if Edge is here, it's the same rough start with this team. So I agree with you. It's gonna take some time, but the rewards will come when you build a solid foundation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
definitely.
I totally agree with that, and I think as well. Sorry, Mark, did you want to say something?
No, carry on, bud.
I was just going to say, I think as well, what you were saying earlier, Mari, about if he wants to play 4 at the back, if he wants to play 3 at the back with overlappers, He's got the players there, especially in the back line, to be able to set up how he wants. Then he's got to work out what he's doing with his midfield, whether he's going to go 3-5-2. He can go all different ways, can't he? When you really think about it, he can play the 4-3-3 way. He can even go 4-4-2.
Well, I noticed though there was something on WhatsApp about all the like styles he's played while he was at Brentford, and there was a list of like 10 different formations, but 2-0-8 wasn't on there.
Was it not?
No, I couldn't understand why.
I was just going to say, I wonder why.
Yeah. He's played. Well, he swaps in game as well, which would be nice to see. I mean, can you imagine if we're, say, I don't know, 2-0 up, and the other team has a bit of, like, they're all over us for a bit, and suddenly we see it, and there's suddenly a back three, and we sit in a little bit. That's going to be so refreshing to see.
Instead of being like, exciting thing. Do you know the most exciting thing for me is that the squad we have now is almost like, and all of them are new signings, because we're going to see them under a proper coach, with proper tactics, played in proper positions, and who knows, we could have a really good side here that we just haven't seen for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, Nigel was saying earlier, I'm excited about the defense because now we're not playing a high line. Now Romero, Van de Ven, a healthy Van de Ven, not having to make those sprints, and Danzo in the back three. We could plug in Dragosin or Phillips or the kid I can't pronounce his name with a V. Then your Dogi and Poro have that freedom to bomb down the flanks. Like, this is, and then he wants a 6 to come in. If we play a back 4, we could rotate because we got all these competition. Like, I honestly, like, they have the shows, keep so, but, like, I know how Romero feels. If he goes, he goes. But if he stays, now I'm looking at defense. It's like it's a new life. It's a new leash on things. And now we can have a defense where, mind you, that now it could be a top 5 defense. And then the thing about Frank is, and just studying him, and because I watch a lot of videos whatsoever, Brentford was a high-flying team. He prefers offense, high-flying offense when Brentford was in the championship. And with this Brentford team, which tells you how smart of a coach he is, that he works with what he has. Yeah. And so what he has, so he knows, okay, I can't be doing that, so I have to have a good side defense. But to my amazement, Brentford was in the top 10, top 5 in goals scored. So now the fans, we could be happy in the sense of, okay, we're not playing boring football, but we now have also defensive structure. That's perfect. That's signs of a good team. And despite winning a trophy, we're not a good team. We're a bad team that won a trophy. I will say this. We're a bad team. All the breaks came through that we needed that won a trophy. It happens. I'll keep it. I'll take it. I'll celebrate it. But I know who we are. We weren't a good team. But we won a trophy. And that feels good. Whereas Arsenal's a good team, and they got nada, and I will banter them to the cows come home.
Quite right, too. Quite right, too.
I would take it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I can see, especially someone like Brennan Johnson, I'll just go with him.
See, just going to get a drink, Mark. Sorry.
No, you crack on, mate. When Brennan Johnson was at Forest, he was not a winger. He was an inside forward, and so was Sonny. Sonny has hardly ever been a winger. He was that player off the striker, And so I can see now, it's like you said, Mari, Thomas Frank plays with the tools he's got. Ange has his system and tried to put square pegs in round holes all the time. Yeah. I said on nearly all of our shows, Brennan Johnson is not a winger. Brennan Johnson is not a winger. Because he never has been, he never will be. You stick him up top with Solanke and see how many goals he scores. Because I know, all right, he's renowned for his tap-ins at the back post. But his finishing is something else for Forest. You watch him when he played for Forest. He played off the striker. He's not big enough to hold the ball up. But you play him as sort of inside forward, auxiliary striker, sort of crouching Defoe, big man, small man thing. Brennan Johnson's finishing is something else. And it's the same with Son. Look, when Son was with Kane, you never saw Sonny out on the wing. Never. He was either creating for Kane or Kane was creating for Sonny. He was never, ever a winger. I was moaning about this the whole of last season. And now we got Thomas Frank come in that will put the round pegs in the round holes. He will play players to their strengths, not try and shoehorn them in a system and play them in positions they're not very good at. Just for the sake of it. Which is, to me, that's so refreshing. So refreshing, because are we going to finish 17th next year? Definitely not. Definitely, because he will bring the best out of the players we got. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt, he'll get the best out of what we got. He'll use the tools he's got. And that's it.
No more square peg round holes then.
No, well, I said that when you was getting a drink, mate. How many times did I come on here last year moaning that Sonny was not a winger, Brennan Johnson was not a winger, and yet they were shoehorned in, square pegs, round holes.
Oh, I'm not being funny, right? This season, Thomas Frank has got plenty of inside forwards that can play off of Solanke.
Yeah.
He's got loads of them because Tottenham class them as wingers, but they're not wingers. Tell's not a winger for me. He's an inside forward. He plays in a two or off of a main striker. Sonny's an inside forward. Mm-hmm. Brennan Johnson's an inside forward. So there's plenty for him to work with in that aspect. I believe.
Yeah.
As much as we want better players, those players are there. And Brennan knows how to put the ball in the net. He did it last season, so.
Well, yeah, but last season it was all tap-ins. But if you watched him when he played for Forest, and he played with whoever the striker was, and he was just off him, it was something like Crouching Defoe, the big man, little man.
Yeah.
Because Johnson will never hold the ball up for you like Solanke will, or Harry Kane will for Sonny.
I do think Johnson gets a little bit of a bad rep for his
You don't for me. I love him.
I know you do, mate. But if you look at all of his goals from last season, there's somewhere on YouTube when you can watch all of them. Actually, probably only a third of them were tap-ins. Not all of them were tap-ins by any means. I think he's a good finisher. What he does outside the box is another story. But answering to Ed M now, he's saying, where's the evidence of Brentford having a good defence? 57. This is Brentford. They're not one of the big boys in the Premier League. They're expected to concede that many and more every season. Listen, I'm not saying Thomas Frank is the next coming of, Pep Guardiola, but I think he's going to make us a lot more solid than Ange did, for certain.
And context to those games, you got to look at, surprisingly, they did well defensively and offensively against the top 10. It's the other teams where the goals came leaking in, and like Knight says, it's Brentford. Now he's going to have Romero, Van de Ven, Danzo. I left out Davies, but he's going to have a bad defense, and so it's he's. I know for him, he's going to be excited that he's going to be working with these players.
You've only got to look at what Thomas Frank did with Brentford. They were in the Championship or League One. He got them at least one promotion to the Premier League. I think he might have took them up from League One as well. I think I may be wrong, but when they first come up from the Premier League, obviously, when you first come in there, your favourites to go down straight away. Look what happened this year. The 3 teams that come up, they all went straight back down. That's normally the way. But he's almost the exception that he kept Brentford in there. Now, before, what they've been in the Premier League now? 5, 6, 7 years, maybe? 5 or 6 years they've been in the Premier League. And when are they ever favourites to get relegated the season after? Huge congratulations got to go to him for firstly getting Brentford in the Premier League, but even more so for making sure they stay there. Because I'm not being disrespectful to Brentford, but they are, to be honest, they're one of them teams like Bournemouth that have just got to be thankful they're in there. You know, that's not being disrespectful. That's not slagging them off or nothing. But teams like Bournemouth and Brentford, they just got to be happy they're in the Premier League. To be honest, that's my opinion anyway. And that's not being disrespectful to Brentford. But from where they come from to where they are now, an established Premier League team, they owe Thomas Frank a huge debt of gratitude. Huge.
The big up to come on you, Purrs. If you could put his comment up. Exactly. I think Sava, or no, somebody else, I think Sean Butler said the dollar amount in wins that spent, it was just an extraordinary fact or stat that the money that Brentford has spent in the years that they've been in Premier League towards the wins, like for him, I exactly agree. This is like a huge squad upgrade. So Thomas Frank is probably south. I mean, his mouth is getting watery, like when you see a steak and you're about to eat it, and his mouth is getting watery because this is a huge like upgrade of players. So big up coming you, Purrs. Like that is small margins do matter. It does. It does.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does with better players, because like we said before, he's obviously got his coaching strategies. He knows how he wants to play, and again, it's just whether the players are there at Spurs mentally and that can adjust to that, because like we've said, 2 years of very little coaching. And now they're going to be coached. Whenever there's a chance to get them on that training pitch, they're going to be coached.
When you said, though, mate, he's got his way of playing, does he, though? Because he's not afraid to adapt in game.
That's, obviously, he's not, he can adapt. We've all said that. But when I say he's got a way of playing, I'm saying he's got a way that he'd want to set his team out. He doesn't set it out the same against every opposition. He studies the opposition, and
this is what I've heard as well.
Yeah,
this is what I've heard as well.
Just to respond to Ed, the clubs that I remember, Moyes, Dyche, and Hodgson walk into, were all financially and squad better than Brentford, to my knowledge. Everton, that I can think of, Everton, they have Braithwaite, Everton, I would say, has a better squad than Brentford. Not this season because Everton struggled, but I would say in most years they have a better squad. They've been going to a bottom, like a really bottom feeder club. Sean Dyche, I'm trying to remember. I'm not so sure about this. About what you.
It's not only that, Mari. It's the fact that these managers, Moyes, Dyche, and Hodgson, they are all defensive-minded managers, and Frank gets so much criticism for apparently being defensive, but he's not. He's a very attacking manager. Yeah. He says himself he goes to win games. He doesn't go. Whereas these managers, Moyes, Dyche, they go first not to lose. They're very defensive. But you got a point. I'm not going to die on a hill for Thomas Frank. He hasn't managed a game for us yet, but I'm just excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone else in the chat you want to say hello to, Mark? Look,
Yeah,
we haven't said where's David. Hello, David. Nice to see you, mate.
David Clark, Ed M.
Back up. Big up, Ed. How you doing, mate?
Good evening. Come on, you purrs.
Big up.
Good evening. See who else is in here. Anyone? Oh,
Eugene.
Philly. Oh, yeah, hang on. Yeah, Eugene at the bottom. Yeah. Philly. Big up, mate.
Eugene's in as well, is he? Yeah.
Eugene.
Big up, Eugene.
Big up, Eugene. Good evening. Let's see who else we got in here, mate. Marios.
There we go.
Big up, mate.
Frank. Brilliant. Nice to have you all in this evening watching.
Paul Kirk.
Paul Kirk's in the house as well.
Yes. And part of the Mark Army.
Oh, Mark's in. Mark Army.
Yes. The Mark Army grows daily.
Brilliant. It's all good stuff.
Big Bad Rom.
Well, Big Bad Rom's in, yeah.
Yeah.
Big up, mate. Big up. Do we think that we're still going to go down the same route as usual and just keep buying kids, or do we think this could, at some as the stance got to change on it? I know we know the stance has got to change. We want more experienced players in, but do you think that could happen in the window? Because there are rumours that we're out there to spend a few quid this summer. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, because to me, at the end of the day, it all boils down to players' wages. If they can find the right players to come in for the right wages, and I don't think you can get, well, maybe you can, but we're not looking in the right places to get more experienced players on the right wages. What are your thoughts on that, chaps?
I suffer from PTSD. WD, that's post-traumatic transfer window disorder. I gotta see it to believe it. And Buemo as there was a guy that used to stream. I know he got in trouble for fraud, but he had a good line, and that line was "Till they hold the shirt, until they hold the shirt, until the ink dries. I'm not buying it, So, the proof has to be in the pudding. As of now, it seemed like we signed Tell and a kid out of Italy. Another kid. We need veterans. We need ready-made players. That's what we need. And so we're linked with these ready-made players, but for long enough, we've been interested in FC. Potential FC, in talks FC, and so I gotta see till they hold up the shirt. I gotta see until the ink dries that we are serious in transfer window. But as of today, like Eugene says, nothing has changed, and so yeah,
and that's. We have got to wait and see. But this comment by Howling Howard Murdoch here, I've read the same thing about Basuma, Son. They're both, especially Basuma's close to going. I've read today. So I'm hoping that if 2 or 3 or 4, because there's been plenty of spoken about Romero going as well at some stage over the window. If we lose these players, I don't want to replace them. The more senior players like a Basuma, a Son. I don't want to replace them with kids. We've got to get some experience in if those players get sold, because if you lose Basuma, Son, and Romero, that's 3 senior players gone from the team, and for me, we've got to replace those with more senior players. Locatelli, Jonathan David, that they're out there to get. It's just the wages. I believe that's the problem. It's not the transfers so much; it's the wages.
Yeah, we made this mistake last year, didn't we? By selling our experienced players we deemed not good enough, Hoybier, even Skip to an extent, and then we brought in youngsters and we really struggled. So there's absolutely no doubt we need some experience. I think we're gonna sign some top players. Every summer we seem to say this is the summer we need to go big, and we never do.
Yeah.
But from what I'm hearing, all the rumours that I'm hearing is that this summer is going to be different again. We will see, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we can only wait and see. We can only wait and see what happens, really, can't we? It's a difficult one. Like another comment says up here about he hasn't even seen them yet, trained with them, anything as far as we know. So it's a wait and see, really. It's just one of them, isn't it? Because like you all said earlier, it's with a coach coming in, a lot of these players are probably going to improve on what you've seen for the last 18 months. So, to see a style and a structure and tactics again, especially not just so much for the ordinary fan, because we'll all be so pleased, but for the people that go week in, week out, to actually see something organised that's going on rather than just, turn up and play under 12s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Just one thing quickly, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Please get over and sub to Nige.
Yeah.
Please get over and sub to Nige.
Yeah. Please do. Just over 700 Nige now, aren't you?
700, yeah. It keeps this kind of stuck on 700. I keep shaking my phone, see if it goes up. But yeah. We're getting there.
And I'm sure most of you already have with the amount of subs they got. Please go over to Tottenham away and sub to Murray. I bet you all have. So it's a waste of time me saying that, but I thought I better put his link in as well.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Tottenham away, kill it. Absolutely killing it.
Yeah. Doing fantastic work over there, Mari. You and the boys, as is Nige over at Pure Coys. Brilliant stuff. Yeah. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, very, very pleased.
Oh,
we are as well. We're doing all right.
Madison.
We're on 420 now, so we're doing all right. Big up, Magic Madison. Yeah. How are you, mate?
Yeah. We're getting there, mate, aren't we? We're slowly growing. We're ticking along.
Yeah, just growth, progression.
It's good. Yeah. Now, chaps, is there talking about players, and we talk about we'd all love the best players, but they're all costing 100 million quid plus. So we know they're not coming. Is there anyone in particular that you would like to see come in there under this manager? As you two chaps at the bottom know, you've been watching videos on him and stuff like that. Now, one just to put one out there for me, they're talking about this Tell deal today. Why wouldn't they go and get a Paulini or someone like that when someone like Bayern owes you money if he wants to get out?
Yeah, what if he wanted a good midfielder? And the rumors are saying that he wanted a number 6. Paulini hasn't really been used by company, and I honestly. I don't rate company. I know Bayern won the league, but he would be perfect, especially because if it's all around centered around the Kane deal, he would have been perfect to come in. Adam Wharton would be perfect to come in, but the English tax, Levy is not going to play the English tax. So he would have been good. But he's not playing much for Bayern. He's been at Bayern. One person I would have loved for us to take from Roma rather than that kid is Kone. But so I don't know. It's I've always questioned the scouting department of this club. It scratches my head. Even with some of the youth players we buy, we don't get. Desiree Doué, you saw what he did with PSG. We were strongly linked with him a while back. Didn't get him, And if we want to go on the cheap and get good players, here's one player I'll throw out there on a shout who played with Kirchi at Lyon. Thiago Almada.
Okay. Yeah.
I've mentioned him. Me and Ash Matic have talked about him. We've seen him play in the States for Atlanta United. Went to Fogo, who's in the Club World Cup.
Yep.
They loaned him out to Lyon. This guy, for a good 10 mil, is a rising. He's rising, and now I'm here now. Man City's looking because he's playing with Messi right now, and he's doing great. Even with Messi on the field, he would be a sneaky good buy to put in our midfield. To versatile, he can even play in the wing, be a good 10, compete with Madison, and Kulusevski. But we don't do that here. We like to sign who, what, where,
Yeah.
and it's it's frustrating.
Do you know the one player I'd like to see us bring in?
Go on.
Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Apparently he's finished at City, but will we pay him? Lord knows what he's being paid at Man City. Definitely not. I think he's on like 400 grand a week or something, and we certainly ain't paying that.
No, I heard he was on 300, but then
300. Well, we certainly ain't paying that either.
No, but the word was if we was to get him on loan, and then work out a deal to like pay half his wages or something like that. That was what I read earlier in the week.
That's right up our street, guys.
Yeah, that's what I read earlier in the week.
I'd take him all day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, Nita said it in the chat. I mean, I've been banging his drum for a couple of years. I love Mitrovic.
Yeah.
I think when we sold Kane, I thought Mitrovic would be a good player to come in. If you want a big, bustling centre forward who's going to knock people off the ball, score headers. For me, listen, he's not your wow player, but I think he'd be a good squad player to bring in. I actually think with the whole Brentford deal with Thomas Frank and him getting his backroom staff, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Brentford say, you can have the backroom staff, but don't touch players. Obviously, Mbuemo's going anyway, so you might not have a choice on him. But I wouldn't surprise me if Brentford said, don't touch any more of our players. That's part of the deal. If you can have Cochrane, but you don't touch our players. I'd love to get Semenyo. I think Semenyo and
he was mentioned there somewhere.
So yeah, Solanke played really well together. The one season they had together worked well, and yeah, Semenyo would be the one for me.
They're stuck on 70 mil, Nige, shouldn't they? I've read that Bournemouth are not prepared to drop their asking price.
Yeah, but if Spurs are prepared to pay 70 million for Mbuemo, if he goes to United, listen, Mbuemo's a first choice, but if he goes to United, then Semenyo for me, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like Semenyo, to be honest with you. It's just some of these prices that are bantered about now for these players. It's just like mind blowing, isn't it? You're talking, for you're just a above average player that's up and coming, 70 million quid. So it just seems like so much money to me. I'm old though, so I can remember the days of £1 million transfers breaking records. You know what I mean? Trevor Francis.
Yeah, he was the first million.
Yeah, 1980 when it marked, or 1979, something like that. When he just won the European Cup, wasn't it?
It was it Birmingham City to Nottingham Forest?
That's it. Yeah.
Well, even when Chrissy Waddle went to Marseille, like 4.3 million, that at the time was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Huge money.
No, 4.3 will get you someone's toenail.
I do like him though, Nige Mitrovic. I liked him at Fulham. I know what you mean though. Yeah, one of them fellas up front who puts it about a bit.
He must give you 15 or more goals. season.
Yeah, he's a fantastic. Well, yeah, I always liked him. That's fantastic to be. Yeah, he's a very good player.
Good evening to Capone 79.
Big up Capone. Hope you're well, mate.
Only mediocre players like Tell. Is this squad even good enough to compete in the Champions League?
And in answer to the next question, we'll just have to wait to find out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everyone else was sabotaged in some way or another.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. The only hope of it is, Capone, is that, you know, boardroom level is being restructured.
It has been already, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been restructured apart from Lang so far.
Well, it hasn't been announced yet, but allegedly Paratici's coming back in the fold.
Yeah.
And I think Lang will be gone then.
Maybe.
Because if Paratici comes back, that's Lang's job, isn't it? I think.
I think the rumor is Lang will be under him, working under.
Yeah. And he's not going to have that.
Yeah. Already it'd be sort of sideways move to the youth, and then Paratici would come in and do the job that he was doing before.
I've heard that Paratici's got more court cases, hasn't he?
Oh,
hasn't he got something else to deal with? So there's a bit of a rumor that he might
still
be an advisory, but not actually part of the club.
What's he done now?
I don't know.
These are lesser charges that FIFA won't do as much, but yeah, it will definitely change his role a bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting again to see what happens because, you know, if it is a full restructuring, does it get to the point, you know, we've all read the stories about, you know, Joe Lewis's daughter sending in Charrington or whatever his name is to oversee things and, you know, so on and so forth. So could this be like what you were talking about, Mari, earlier about a sale within the next couple of years? Could this sort of be a way that they're trying to move Levy away from the football, or is that just never going to happen?
Well, it's two difficult things. The rumor is that the family, especially the daughter, does not like Daniel Levy. The thing with Daniel Levy, which is this is tough to hear. You know, what if Joe Lewis sells all of his shares in regards to Tottenham? Levy will still convince whoever the part owner comes in of him wanting to run. It's almost like Tottenham is his baby, and it's the reason why he has to have his hands on everything. I think every fan will say, "Hey, just worry about the finances, all the other stuff, and just leave the football matters to the football people." But,
to be honest, we'd all be happy if he'd do that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of examples. I've used Napoli's situation with De Laurentiis when he put his hands off, right? Napoli's has won 2 Serie A's, right? I've used even other sports, the NBA, my favorite NBA team, the Knicks, where the owner, Charles Dolan, said, "All right, I'm going to leave my hands off it," But the problem is, I've said this, that Daniel Levy is a narcissist. He's a control freak. I never believe him when he says, "Oh, well, I'm going to give more." There's very few people that he will give that power. And I'm hoping it's Paratici that he gives kind of like more of that. And Vinay is coming in. They're saying that Vinay is getting more of that. So it really depends, but I'm to a point that I got to see it to believe it in regards to Levy.
Let me be honest about Daniel Levy. Right now, if Daniel Levy, because we can't hide the fact as much as we're all Levy out, right? When it comes to business and doing stuff like that, the man is a genius. The man is an absolute genius. Anything that's off the field, you look at the way he structured the building of the stadium and paying for it. He's got it on one of the lowest interest rates ever. This is when all the inflation and the interest rates was going up. He's got it at some ridiculous rate of interest. We're never, ever, ever gone bankrupt, the club, ever, right? Because of the way Daniel Levy runs it. So in that, you got to hold your hands up and say, well done, Daniel. It's the football side of it that we're all pissed off with him about, where he won't put money into the squad. He will not take chances and buy the players that we think we need. That's why the fans are angry with him. All the rest of the stuff, like building the stadium, the training ground, getting all the NFL contracts, the Formula One, the whatever else goes on there, the concerts, the rugby that's in there, the bloody boxing. Hats off to him. But as long as all that money coming in would go back to the... Because with all the stuff, you got to remember, we got one of the highest incomes of any Premier League club now. With all the add-ons, because the NFL is massive. Mara, you appreciate that.
Yeah.
NFL is massive.
Tottenham was number 2 behind the Dallas Cowboys stadium revenue, generated revenue.
Yeah.
And that's a huge deal.
Well, just the NFL in general, the whole NFL thing, there's massive money in that.
And I'll say this, David. Yes, I do know that. It's just that there haven't really been a mouthpiece or rumored to be a mouthpiece to say. But yes, you are correct. It is the 2 lawyers that do control the trust in regards to Tavistock. And he actually lives in Bahamas and lives in Orlando. I should know because I get to drive by it in regards to Orlando.
Have you put the change for Tottenham flag on the fence or the gates outside?
But no, it's a big community. What Tavistock owns is almost half of Orlando. It's an area called Lake Nona, that whole area there. A couple of years ago, they just sold a big piece to Disney. Disney is building their university.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, these people, they know how to make money. When it comes to business, they
when it comes to anything business, Daniel Levy is a genius, an absolute genius.
Joe Lewis too. They know the deal, and I've spoken to former employees, current employees. Some of them who have flown VIP to the new stadium. They've told me this and that, and it's just But off the field, they know what they're doing. But
off the field, they know exactly what they're doing. On the field, they ain't got a clue. Ain't got a clue. Which is what makes, I'd say, a lot of the Levy-out fans mad, is that they just left football alone and run the backroom stuff and put all the money that's earned from the NFL, the Formula One and whatever, put that all back into the football side.
I will say before I jump off, because I got to leave, but I will say this, the perfect opportunity. I don't know the laws in England or in London in regards to protesting, but the Beyonce concert was on last Thursday or Friday? And you want to talk about an event to protest? Between that and the NFL, the next protest should be at a big event like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because if you are able to rattle, and it will rattle promoters, that goes straight to Daniel Levy's desk, let alone cell phone. And so, I support change for Tottenham, but if I were to give them one word of advice, they're going to have to start protesting at non-Spurs events. Some of the big concerts, U2, Beyonce, NFL games. Because if you want to, rattle Daniel Levy, those events, guarantee will rattle him. It's bad PR. It's not good for business.
And hit him in the pockets as well. Hit him in the pocket. A good
1,000 people protesting near the stadium, concert goers, NFL fans going, you know, the NFL would definitely be like, hey, Daniel, what's going on here? Why are there protesters outside the stadium? You know, we want our fans to walk into the building, you know, with no drama going on. So it's my opinion, but on that note, it was an honor to finally get on. I know I will finally get on Pure Cures. I know we've missed Nigel spoke to your partner in crime. Yeah. And so now that this is the slow period, it's the summertime, I should be able to jump on. So, but it was real great, relaxed atmosphere.
Sure.
The show, the people in the chat are awesome. And so it was.
Just one thing before you go, Murray. We must arrange for you to do your Lifetime 11.
Yes, I need to. Actually, I wrote it down. And
don't tell us. Just
I will tell you. No. It's at work on my desk. It's actually on my desk. Right. Yeah, I got my.
We'll get together and sort that out, Murray. Don't worry. I'll send you a text and we'll work out a time and a day when it suits you and we'll sort it out.
Okay.
No problem. All right.
Brilliant.
Thanks for coming on, Mari. We really appreciate you coming on tonight.
All right.
It's lovely to have you on at last.
Yeah. The Giants, not the Commanders. The Giants. Those are my rivals. Them, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. Big up, David. Big
Brilliant.
up.
Thanks, Mari. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mari. Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Love Mari.
Yeah. Brilliant guy.
No, he's gone. Oh, brilliant. I think David was on a wind up there.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I had to quickly bring it up before Mari left.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, here we go. Tal wins on scores French penalty in under 21s Euros.
There you go.
There you go. Tottenham player. Get in.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, look, Mark's a Commander's fan. There you go. There's two of you in here. Dear, oh dear. There you go. Happy days. Chaps, have you got much more that you want to, anything you want to say about Spurs and Thomas Frank and anything that we've missed at all that you might want to speak about? We've done an hour and a half. The old shoulder's starting to kill me. Not an excuse, but it is starting to kill me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just really excited about it. Yeah, well done. I'm just really excited about the future.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Frank coming in. At least we've got a coach. We've been screaming for a coach, and we've got one now. So all I can say is let's see what's going on with it. Mark, anything else you want to say, mate?
No, mate. Just the final thing. Please like, subscribe to Nige, us, Tottenham Away. I'm sure all of you have subscribed to Tottenham Away.
Yeah, definitely.
But Nige and us, we're chasing down 500. We are. We're slowly creeping there, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, we're getting there. And
slowly
Nige is on the way to 1,000. So I'm sure you're all subscribed to him. But if you're not, please do. Nige, thanks for coming on, mate. We really appreciate it.
And we will see you in about half an hour.
There is no mud in the pub tonight, mate. I'm afraid.
Oh well.
No, I did text. I just put it in text, but you're obviously. I think you might have been live when you were going. But
right.
No, it was difficult because I got my mum in, and for
of
a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and I got my daughter, so she's kind of going to be in the same room. So as
of course.
And you're not in next week either, are you?
No, I'm working next week. Saturday.
So what I might do is, if you want Nige, you can't. Did you say you can't, Nige? Next week?
Oh, I can next week. No.
Oh, next week, right? So maybe I don't know if you want to do a show, Nige. Maybe I'll come on with you or something because Mark's at work next Saturday.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, we can sort something out and do something on here anyway. We'll work something out. Anyway.
We know what you're doing, Mark.
Yeah, we'll work something out. We'll sort it. Brilliant. Anyway, so just say thank you to the chat. Thanks for all being here tonight. Having a little chilled out chat with us. Again, thanks to Nige. And on that note, all I can say is it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
Thanks, everyone. Speak to you soon. Take care.
Come on, you Spurs.